Welcome back. Coming up on June 14th, the annual Kamloops Diversity Walk is set to go. Joining us today to talk about it, we have Paul Lagacy, who is a team volunteer for the walk, and Jeremy Heighton, the Executive Director of the North Shore Business Improvement Association. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Good. So this Diversity Walk's coming up next week.
Yes, normally, traditionally it had been held in March. When I first started in 2009, we moved the open house from the December period, which was more of a holiday festive kind of thing. We moved it to a more cultural and diversity kind of focus. And that's when we decided to use the International Day to End Racial Discrimination. And so for 7 years we used that particular event or that time frame. And now we've noticed that there's an interest in the community, and in discussion with Jeremy and the Friendship Center and Ask, there's an interest in the community to bring this diversity event as a community event rather than a acknowledgement of an international thing.
I think that's great, all together. So let me hold up this proclamation and you tell us about it. We'll get a shot of it on the camera here. What is this about?
Well, the initial proclamations that we were working with on these walks were for the elimination of racial discrimination. This year, we have the same proclamation as prior, but we're going to be changing it to the walk to embrace cultural diversity. So next year, the proclamation will reflect the cultural diversity of the walk.
That's good.
And so it's a transition that we're doing from the world end to racial discrimination.
Excellent. Jeremy, you are the Executive Director of NSBIA. How's that going? And tell me how...
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
We'll talk about that sometime.
Another
That's
day.
amazing. Yeah,
you should be coming on Midday to talk about what's going on, by the way. But tell me a little bit about your part to play in the walk.
Well, if you go back, the North Shore has been sort of the seed of cultural diversity in Kamloops, going back to Aboriginal times, you know, thousands and thousands of years ago, where it was a mixing pot for the interior and the coastal First Nations to come to trade. But then you go back even, you know, 150 years ago with the Land and Orchard Company, and you see that the land was distributed amongst families that we know. You know, you got Macquarie's, Beppels, Sings, Bahalas, Clements, Shriners, Wilsons, Hilliards. Like, there's a huge cultural diversity on the North Shore. And so when we look at Overlanders Day, when we look at the walks for the cultural diversity, when we look at all of these components, it's part of the cultural DNA of our community that cultural diversity is embedded. And it's beyond just, you know, different cultures. It's about sexual freedom, it's about religious freedom, it's about embracing people and saying, how do we as a community build a bigger, better, brighter community? And that's really why we're here, because we believe in the value building community. Fantastic, you guys. We have pictures, we're looking through them. We only have about a minute left to talk about this. So Paul, give us the who, why, where, when. Well, let's take a look at the walk will start at the NSBIA at 11 o'clock. There will be these speeches and so on. And then from Wilson House, there'll be a walk down guided by the traffic control to go to KIS, where all of the function will take place at the Kamloops Immigrant Services. Now, it's important for people to know that parking is limited because we are going to use the outside venue as well. Okay. So parking is limited. If you can use the bus or carpool, also my understanding is there's extra parking at the NSBIA area. Okay. And so we would encourage people to try and carpool or use alternative parking. Awesome. Okay, and this is getting underway at what time? 11 a.m. It starts at 11 a.m. and please check out our Facebook at KIS for the event, more information. Awesome, you guys. Great. It's going to be a great turnout, I'm sure. Thank you to the both of you for being here.